In the last video, we looked at the standard library and how to import modules. Remember to take a look at that if you haven't already. And if you think I've forgotten about the homework, you are mistaken. The homework that I set last video was to import a function that lets you pick a number from 1 to 6, like a die. If you haven't done it, go back to that video and see if you can do it. Here's how I've done it. So here I've imported the randRange function to pick the random number. Notice how I added 1 to the result. This is because Python starts counting from 0, and a regular die doesn't have the number 0. That's how I've done it, but if you've done it differently, please go ahead and tell me in the comments section. Oh, and here are the answers to the quiz. The answer to the first question is, to import modules, use the import keyword like this. The answer to the second question is, to import functions from a module, type from module import function. And the answer to the third question, the word that describes how you access functions from a module is called dot notation. Tell me down in the comment section how you did. Now, let's move on and talk about types. Imagine you have a cup. You pour coffee into it so you can drink the coffee. And imagine you have another cup. Being British, I'm going to pour in tea. So now I have 2 cups that store some kind of drink. I have coffee in one and tea in another. Coffee and tea are fundamentally different in many ways. For one thing, they taste different. Now, I'm not talking about tea and coffee because I'm going to change this channel into Abel's Tea Time. I'm sure there are other channels for that. No, it's because programming works in much the same way as cups and drinks. Look, I'll show you. Open up the REPL like I've shown you in past videos and type this in, x equals 7. What did we just do? You might remember from a previous video that we made a variable. Variables store data, much like the cup stores drinks. You might know variables from maths, and they work in a similar way. But there's much more than tea and coffee available. What is the drink in this case? In the programming world, the drinks are called data types. And there's much more than tea and coffee available. A lot more. That's why I won't be talking about all of the types in Python right now, because some of them are kinda complicated. But I will show you the 5 fundamental types of Python. We'll start with this one, the one that we've just used. This 7 is what's called an integer, and has the type int. An integer is just a whole number, without any decimal points. Even this won't be classed as an integer, even though it's technically a whole number. You can even do binary by prefixing the number with 0b, like this. And it'll convert the binary into its base 10 form. There are loads of other stuff you can do with integers, but I'll leave you to check that out in your own time. Let's move on to the float type. A float is pretty much the opposite of an integer. It's a decimal number that isn't completely whole. So there has to be a decimal point in order for it to be a float. Here's an example, 7.25. There's more to it than that. You can also do scientific notation. That means really big numbers like the speed of light, which is 3 times 10 to the power of 8, can be written effortlessly like this. Keep in mind that any calculations that have both float and int will result in a float, for example like this. The NoneType is a special type that, as the name suggests, is completely nothing. If you type in none, you'll get what you asked for. It's as simple as that. It's commonly used as a placeholder value. It works like any other object in that you can assign it to variables and such, but really there's nothing else to it. The bool type is a pretty nifty type that represents logical boolean values. There are 2 of them, true and false. You can check if something is true with the is operator. So if I were to make a variable containing none, and then check to see if it is none, it'll tell me that it's true. But if I instead ask if it's 1, it'll tell me it's false. That's it really, it's just true and false questions. The str type is an incredibly large topic, meaning I will not be able to talk about it in too much detail. But we'll go over the basics anyways, since they are very important. The str type denotes strings in Python, which are objects that can have words and sentences as well as numbers. In order to use strings, you need to surround the word with either single or double quotes. This variety means you can have punctuation in your string without having to use ugly escape characters. but you still need to be consistent. Again, there's a lot more to strings than this, but this is all you need to know for now. If you want to check what type something is, you can always call the type function. If you wanted to find the type of A, just do type A to find that it's a string. We can see that this is a float, and that this is type none. So remember, if in doubt, call upon the power of type. Sometimes when you're programming, you need to convert one type into another. For example, you might want to convert a string with a number inside it into an integer. For that, you can call type constructors, which are conveniently named after the type it constructs. So, using our previous example, we can use the int function to convert 725 into 725. It works the other way around too. Using the struct constructor, we can convert 725 back into a string. When used with floats, int will effectively strip off the decimal point and the digits to its right. In other words, it always rounds down. When using the bool constructor, the trick is that the empty value will be false and everything else will be true. So the boolean of 0 is false, and the boolean of any other number, like 314, is true. The same goes for strings. If the string is empty, it's false. Otherwise, the string is true. You can have fun experimenting with these in your own time. Welcome back to quiz time. There are 3 questions, and if you can get them all right, you get the grand prize of bragging rights. And here they are. First question, what are the 2 number types? Question number 2, what is the NoneType for? And question number 3, what does the string false become when converted to a boolean? Remember, the answers will be revealed in the next video, so stay tuned for that. And let's go over your homework real quick. All you need to do is print the number of characters in a string, then print the last character of that string. That's it. So, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, dislike, you know the drill, and I don't need to repeat it to you. And tell me down in the comment section if you're following along, or criticize me till I break. Thanks for watching, until next time, see ya!